Back, everybody. It's time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
And today we're joined by Barb Bartlein from the People Pro. Jeff Wagner also back with us. The TSA defending its behavior detection program. That program trains officers to identify terrorists before they act by looking for passengers showing signs of stress, fear, or deception. But the Government Accountability Office says there's no proof it works. Should TSA keep its program? I think stress is probably on every traveler's face.
But
fear maybe on some. I don't know.
But the truth is, it's more than that. Back in another life, I used to work with something we call the drug courier profile. It's something that DEA agents use to try to identify people who might be traveling and carrying drugs. Was it 100% accurate? No, but it did identify certain characteristics, and that's all this is. I just don't really see a downside of it unless they're going to allege that it's leading to racial profiling or things like that. I don't think that's the claim, though.
I don't think there's a downside to it either. And I'm reminded a few years ago, I flew out of Tel Aviv, Israel. And at Tel Aviv, you have to arrive at the airport very early. And what they do basically is go through your luggage while they watch you. And they look you in the eye. And it's the extreme version of this program. And you know what? There's never been a terrorist incident out of that airport.
That's because they don't mess around.
No, they do not mess around.
You know,
and I was sweating.
Barb, you went right to the point I want to make. Israel has a perfectly safe track record, but they have these multiple layers of security. I mean, from the moment you buy the ticket, security is involved. Why we would not want to use a model that seems to work somewhere else in the world?
Because Americans would complain, and they would sue.
But flying by airplane is not a right.
Well, no, I agree. I'm just saying what America would do, which in this case I think is wrong. I think if you want to fly and be safe, you close your mouth, you go with the rules, and you get on the airplane.
And what TSA is doing is a lot less intrusive than what Barb's talking about. Or a couple of years ago, I flew through the Frankfurt airport. I mean, you go through German airports, they don't fool around either with the different levels of security. And this is not foolproof, and they don't maintain that it's foolproof. It's just that they find, based on research, there are certain common characteristics, and they use these to try to identify people who maybe are deserving a little bit of added scrutiny. I mean, why not do this? Why not?
If someone's acting squirrely, stop them and check them out. All right, coming up next, we will reveal the viewer's choice topic today.
Plus, Brian Goddard taking another look at a forecast that's going to get cold.
Say goodbye to that sun you're looking at right there.
Back after this.
Again, we're joined by the People Pro, Barb Bartlein, and Jeff Wagner. He's the Radio Pro from 620 WTMJ. Investigation now underway in New Mexico after a video showed an officer shooting at a fleeing minivan full of children. Things started to heat up after police stopped the driver for speeding. One officer used a baton to break the window. Another officer shot at the van, saying he was aiming for the tire. Should police have shot at the van? Is it ever a good idea to shoot out the tires of a vehicle? I mean, I've never seen that.
Well, at least in theory, one would hope that if they aimed for the tire, that's what they would hit. I guess what I have a problem with this story is they stopped the guy for speeding. Is that something you routinely pull your gun for, or was this person fleeing for some other reason? There's some missing pieces.
Well, what I understand happened is they pulled the woman over for speeding. As the police officer is walking back to his car to run her license or whatever, she takes off again. They catch her again, then they're going to put her under arrest, then she struggles. Now, having said all that, I'm as pro-law enforcement as they come. You do not shoot at a car that is trying to pull away, whether it's full of kids or not. I mean, the bullets could have hit the gas tank. All sorts of bad stuff could happen. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that you can bring this car under control. Matter of fact, that's what ultimately happened. There was a high-speed chase. They eventually brought it down. Under no circumstances, unless you think you're dealing with a murderer or an armed robber or a terrorist, do you just try to shoot out the wheels of a car. It's just not done. And I think the cops that did this are in a lot of trouble.
So too many movies is the problem here.
Right. I mean, again, it's not, you're only supposed to use your firearm if your life is in danger, if you're faced with deadly force. If she was trying to run the police officer down, I get it. She's trying to go the other way. I don't think anybody in law enforcement anywhere in the country would say you pull out your gun and you shoot at a car, much less trying to hit the tires. It is a miracle that one of the kids in the car, and Mom's at fault here, don't get me wrong, Mom shouldn't have done this, but you don't shoot at a van that's pulling away. You just don't do that.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our lightning round. DNR wants you to invite someone new to hunting this year. grab your orange. They're offering discounted licenses for folks who have never bought a gun deer license or have at least not bought one in the last 10 years.
Well,
good idea.
I get this one. The amount of hunters is pretty stagnant, and the DNR wants to get people out there and back into hunting. Here's the problem I have with this one. On their website, they even emphasize if a person goes with somebody who's an experienced hunter, they don't even need to take the hunting training safety course.
Right.
Is this really what we want? More untrained people out there shooting guns?
As long as they're not armed, I'm good with it, but then what's the point of going hunting?
Right.
Well, I think it's to try to get the experience. I mean, right now you have you're right, Barb, there's stagnant number of hunters. This is a huge tourism thing, though. We have about 600,000 people that are going to take to the woods for next Saturday, and they're trying to increase that number. I think this is a good idea to try to get people interested. I mean, of course, I'm with everybody that if you're going to go out there and you're going to be carrying a firearm, you got to know how to use it.
What's it say, though, that the state needs to incentivize? You know, what's a tradition here in Wisconsin? It's just not what it used to be anymore.
Well, I think that's true. It's not what it used to be. It's still incredibly popular, but I think they're trying to, exactly as you say, incentivize it because, you know, deer hunting is such a part of our culture, and it's also such a part of our industry, our leisure time industry. It's a big deal to businesses up north.
I think people need to take the course.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm with you, Courtney. Please take a safety course and know what you're doing. Too many stray bullets.
All right, the What's Hot discussion will continue online. Find that at tmj4.com/hot.
Coming up, Storm Team 4.